As part of the second virtual workshop for the Mattapoisett Master Plan, we'll be looking at data and information regarding housing policy, goals, and strategies in town. We'll take a look at the current state of demographics that will impact the future need and demand for housing. Finally, we'll consider the barriers to development, and I'll close with some goals and strategies that we can consider to achieve greater housing diversity and affordability in town. Before I dive into the data, I want to give some background regarding the information I'll be presenting. Back in 2019, the town began pursuing the update to the Housing Production Plan. These efforts resulted in many of the data we'll talk about today. That process was put on hold because the master plan promised to take a comprehensive look at housing as well. This will shape the goals and strategies of the master plan and the housing production plan when it's finalized. Data will be updated as we get further along in the process and as the 2020 census data results are released to the public. When we talk about housing policy, it's important to consider the context of the population. Mattapoisett's population has fluctuated over the past 20 years, but we do see household trends that indicate an aging population. 42% of households include a person over the age of 65. 25% of Mattapoisett's households are single-person households, and almost half of these are individuals over 65 who live alone. Households with children under 18 have fallen from 32 to 20% since 2000. That's a 12% drop. These household trends let us know the type of demand for housing in town. With increasingly single-person households, there may be less demand for those 3 and 4 bedroom homes, for example. Let's talk a little bit more about the aging population in Mattapoisett. In 2000, 22% of people in Mattapoisett were of retirement age, 60 years or older. Over the past 20 years, and according to our data, this number increased to 37% by 2018. The percentage of working and school-age individuals dropped anywhere between 7 to 9 percentage points, and this also informs the median age in town, which today hovers around 52 years old, a number that's up by 10 years from 2000. Again, these trends inform the demand for housing types. With retirement comes limited and static incomes, which means that households will start considering the best options based on their finances and size. This could mean a higher demand for smaller homes or accessory dwelling units so grandma and grandpa can live with their families. When it comes to housing, we also consider income, which informs a population's buying power and ability to age in place. Mattapoisett is a pretty affluent and wealthy community. 45% of the working population makes $100,000 or more. This might explain the current state of the housing market and type of demand, but this trend may change in the future as more individuals enter their retirement years. The next step in talking about housing that meets our needs is exploring potential barriers. For Mattapoisett, these barriers largely coalesce around prices, aging housing stock, as well as zoning and permitting. Let's start with the discussion about housing costs. And for this, let's use the graphic here. We can break down what we're seeing by 3 factors: median sale price of homes in Mattapoisett, the affordable price of a home, which we get by multiplying median family income by 3, and finally, taking the difference of these 2 values to get what we call the affordability gap. For example, in 2018, the median sale price of homes in Mattapoisett was $423,000. According to our data, an affordable home in town would be priced around $252,000. Theoretically, these numbers tell us there is an affordability gap of about $171,000. Scenarios like these complement other data, such as the percentage of people in town that are housing cost burdened. Overall, and luckily, a majority of Mattapoisett is not cost burdened, but it's important to look at the trends of those who do face these challenges. Of those individuals that own a home in Mattapoisett, 12.5% of people are cost burdened. That means that 30 to 50% of their income is spent on housing. The remaining 12% are severely cost burdened, and that tells us that they're spending more than 50% of their income on housing. You'll notice that the percentage of individuals severely cost burdened increases when they become renters. cities and towns in the Commonwealth are responsible for providing affordable housing options in their community, and this is where zoning and permitting can play a significant role. The state requires that 10% of a town's housing stock be subsidized, of which Mattapoisett only has 3%. This places us in a unique position where developers may propose projects under Chapter 40B that enable them to bypass local zoning rules and regulations in the interest of creating more affordable housing. Mattapoisett lacks incentives to create age-friendly, age-restricted developments, but furthermore doesn't have the rules and regulations that would enable the town to gain better control of affordable housing developments in town. An early review of the previous housing production plan and existing conditions tells us that Mattapoisett can pursue education campaigns and partnerships to encourage more affordable housing. Additionally, we can consider revisiting zoning and permitting. The town can also pursue affordable housing strategies such as comprehensive permits to guide proactive, friendly 40Bs and other programs such as 40R and 40S to gain control of the development process and achieve the 10% minimum subsidized housing threshold. These actions will ensure development of subsidized, affordable housing while also producing some market rate housing options. Thanks for listening to this preview of our discussion about housing in Mattapoisett. If you have questions or would like to propose your own solutions to some of these problems, I encourage you to attend our workshop on February 24th at 6:30 p.m. Registration is required, so visit our website for more information. Thanks again.